Hello everyone, happy Tuesday. It's time for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. This is Lena Gersa. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. And today I am super excited to be able to see you, or have you see me at least, and to share with you the amazing, adorable Snail Mail Suite from the January to June Stampin' Up! Mini Catalog. Now, you may be surprised to see my face, but I have to say, I have been trying to figure out a way to make this work since I started doing live videos 2.5 years ago. So I could never find a way to be able to have you see my face to start and then flip the camera in a way that wasn't super disruptive and messed up the focus and everything. Well, a couple weeks ago, I was watching a live video by my friend Zara Premji, and she did the smoothest transition from face view to desktop view. And I thought, okay, what the heck is she doing? What holder does she have? So I right away messaged her, and she oh so kindly video messaged me back, and she showed me exactly what she does. She has the exact same fold holder I do, but she's smarter than I am and had a really cool way to make it work. So I am so excited to be able to talk to you face to face for a few minutes as people are joining, and then we're going to flip and I'm going to show you the projects and the suite. So how cool is that? I'm very excited to be able to chat with you this way. Now, I'm going to ask you to excuse the mess on the table behind me. I am in the midst of winter retreat prep, and I'm getting notifications. We're just going to close that. It's kind of busy in here these days, so it's a little bit of a disaster area. I have prep stacks of stuff, cut stacks of stuff to cut. It's just craziness, but it's good craziness. So you'll have to excuse the mess behind me, but I hope that's okay, and I hope you are enjoying actually seeing me instead of just my hands. So it looks like we have a number of people joining. I'm just going to quickly pull up my video here on my iPad. There we are. And we are going to flip the camera. So I'm going to suggest you look away for a minute. If you're someone who gets a little bit seasick when there's motion, you're going to want to look away for a minute while I flip the camera, and then I'll say when we're ready, and then you can look back, okay? We'll see how this goes. Wish me luck. Here we go. Oh, look at that. I think we're good. Just make sure this is tight so we don't droop. There we are. Hello. Okay, I think we're good. If you've looked away, you can look again. Okay, all right. Oh, my room, Deb. It is a lovely color. It actually matches the old stamp cases that we had before they updated them. It was the same shade of green. I didn't even plan it that way, actually, but it's a great color because it's nice and neutral, and it's easy to add bright pops of color. So I wanted something that was bright because I'm in a basement, and it's just a nice light color that I can add pops of color to. All right, thanks, Deb. I did nail it. Woohoo! Thank you to Zara. Zara is a rock star for showing me how to do that. All right, so let's talk for a minute about the Snail Mail Suite. So this is on pages 54 and 55 of the mini catalog. It is super cute. Now, this is a suite that some of us might just kind of brush by because we don't have kids at home, or we're kind of past the kid stage. But honestly, this is not just a kid's suite. It is so fun, and the projects that we can make are so adorable that anybody would love to get them. So let me show you the items in the suite. Then we're going to make some projects, and I'm going to talk a little bit about a class to go that I'm going to be launching tomorrow. Okay, so let's look at the stamp set first. Adorable images, really fun to color, and then fun, punny little sentiments. You snailed it. Happy Meal enclosed. This actually fits in the postage stamp punch. So if you have that punch, you can punch this out and put it on the back of your envelopes, which is a really fun thing. Who doesn't love to get Happy Meal these days, right? And then just really cute sentiments that are, or images that are fun to color. So then, of course, we have the coordinating dies. And like always, we have some dies that cut out the stamped images, but then we have this awesome large postage stamp dies. We're going to use that today. This adorable mini envelope. This is a little tiny stitched label. And then we have some cute little mushrooms. So this is a really adorable die set that works so well with the stamp set, but also works beautifully with the fantastic DSP. So let me slide this out of the way for a minute. So this is the DSP that's in the suite. We have super cute images. Now these are fantastic for fussy cutting or die cutting. The little envelopes fit in that die. And this little guy fits in that die. I absolutely love when Stampin' Up! Does this for us. And then we get some cute mushrooms that are super easy to fussy cut. Or if you have an electronic cutter, like a scan and cut, these cut out super quick. I cut like 2 sheets of these in like less than 5 minutes. Some cute little snails. And again, this one, again, will cut with the die. Okay, then we flip this over and we get some fun, less busy images, some hearts, which are perfect for Valentine's Day, some little postage stamps, and then this one also cuts with the little speech bubble die. So I love how thoughtful Stampin' Up! Is when they design their DSP to coordinate with the dies. It just makes me happy. So that is the adorable DSP. Obviously this is 6 by 12. These are just half sheets. I cut them down so they would fit a little bit better on camera. And then we have some adorable embellishment. So this is like my go-to embellishment these days, the Baker's Twine. So it comes in a combo pack. You get the Whisper White and the Blushing Bride together, 25 yards of each on the roll. It's a pretty sweet deal. I think it's like 10 bucks for 50 yards of twine. And then we have these adorable little resin heart embellishments, and you get 150 of these in the pack, which is amazing. So that is the products in the suite. So let's get this out of the way so we can get to doing some stamping. Throw those over on my other desk. I got to keep the dies handy because we're going to do a little bit of die cutting. And I'm going to show you the first project we're going to do. This is one I posted yesterday. This is actually one I designed for a swap that I did over Christmas. And it's super quick and easy to put together. Whenever I do a swap, I want to make sure I'm choosing projects or designing projects that are going to be quick, right? Because you're mass producing them. So for this swap, I had to make 21 of these guys. And it did not take me long at all. So to start, we have a piece of Smokey Slate cardstock. It's 4 by 5 1/4 inches. And I'm going to bring in, oh, I grabbed the wrong color of ink. Hang on. I need Smokey Slate ink, not basic gray. So my Smokey Slate, I'm going to bring in my Smokey Slate ink, and we're going to do some stamping to create this fun background. So I'm going to start by stamping my little speech bubble several times. Oops, stray dimensional backing. Those little suckers get everywhere. So I'm just going to stamp this a few times. I don't really need to worry too much about the middle. Oh, got a halo there. It doesn't matter. I'm going to cover it anyway. Okay. Then we're going to add a few little hearts. And I like to do my hearts a little bit cockeyed. Now, again, a little tip. When you're creating a background like this, you want to make sure some of your images extend off the edge of the page. Okay, that gives the feeling that this, it has motion and it's cut from a larger size piece. Okay, you want to have some of your elements touching the edge. So then I'm going to bring in my little hello, and we're going to stamp, I don't need to worry about that one because we're not going to see it. So I'm going to stamp my hello in the center of each one of my little speech bubbles. Super quick. Put this guy down here. Not sure if we're going to see much of that one, but we'll put a little bit there. And that's that. Really, really quick and easy. Then we have a strip of this adorable DSP. So it's got the little postage stamps on one side and then the parcels on the other. So this is cut to 4 by 2 inches. 4 by 2? 1 3/4. 4 by 1 3/4. So that is going to go on. And again, we think about the rule of thirds when we're designing, right? So we want to have 2/3, 1/3. So it's going to go on a little bit below center. So we'll just grab a little bit of adhesive and we're going to pop that on right about there, making sure I cover up my stamp that had the halo. And then we're going to add a little bit of twine. So I'm going to bring in both colors. Now you can certainly use just one, but why use one when you can use two? That's my motto. So I'm going to bring in both, and we're going to add a little bit of each color to our panel here. So we're gonna just add a glue dot, one there and one there. And then I'm gonna press the ends into the glue dot on one side, bring it around and press it in there. And again, this is just my tip for not wasting twine, right? Why wrap twine around the back side where you don't see it? So I would rather use a couple of glue dots so that I save all that extra twine. All right, so then we're gonna add our bow in a few minutes. First, we're gonna layer this. Now I wanted an extra little pop of color because I didn't want it to look gloomy. Gray can be gloomy, as we know, given the weather these days. So this is a piece of Daffodil Delight. It is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So we're gonna layer that on there, and it's gonna fit oh so sweetly with a nice little narrow border, just like I like them. So we'll add a little bit of Stampin' Seal. Hello, Debbie from North Carolina. Thanks for joining me today. How is the weather down there? We are getting some snow here today. I'm betting you're not getting snow in North Carolina. All right, so there is my card front. We're ready to put that onto our base now. So this is a piece of Smokey Slate cardstock. It's 4 1/4 by 11 inches, so half a full sheet, scored in the middle at 5 1/2. So we'll just fold that in half along our score line. And we're gonna add a little bit more adhesive. And we're gonna pop that on right centered on our card so we have a nice narrow little border all the way around. Okay? All right, now comes the fun part. We're gonna stamp our cute little snail. So we'll get these out of the way. I'm gonna need those later for another card, but we're gonna stamp our little snail for now in basic gray. So we're gonna be coloring with Stampin' Blends. And you may think that the only ink that you can use with Stampin' Blends is the Memento Tuxedo Black. Well, that's not true. The Memento Tuxedo Black is totally fine, but there are lots of other colors of ink that work and don't blur with the blends, and the basic gray is one of them. So we're gonna stamp our little snail. While I have the ink out, I've got a little scrap of white cardstock here as well. So we're gonna stamp our little speech bubble and our hello inside it because we're gonna die cut that in a few minutes. But first we're gonna color our snail. So I'm gonna bring in my Stampin' Blends. Now I didn't do any shading on my sample, again, because I was making this for a swap, but I'm gonna show you some really easy ways to get shading using just one color of blends, okay? So just to give you an idea what colors I'm using, we'll put them sort of kind of in rainbow order here. So I'm using my light Flirty Flamingo, that's gonna be for the body. Oh, I grabbed light Cherry Cobbler, that's not what I want. I want my light Real Red, I've gotta change that. I'm using my dark Daffodil Delight, my dark Pool Party, and my light Bermuda Bay. So I'm gonna grab my Real Red because I don't want, there we go. We're gonna use our light Real Red, not our light Cherry Cobbler. Okay, so we're gonna start coloring the body. So this goes really, really quick. Again, because I made these for a swap, I didn't really fuss about the coloring. So we're just gonna come around and color this guy in. And you wanna just take some care as you're doing kind of around his eyes there to make sure you're staying in the lines. Okay, now one way to add some shading is to take the same shade of ink and just go over a portion of the image, the part that you wanna shade, a second time. Okay, so it's not going to be a really, really strong difference. Right now it's quite obvious because it's wet, but as it dries, you're going to see that that's going to fade and blend in a little bit, and you're just going to get a really subtle shadow. So that's one way to get shading without having multiple colors of the blends. All right, let's do the shell. So I'm going to bring in my Daffodil Delight. This is the dark daffodil. So we're just going to carefully color in our little shell here. And I want to color the stripes a different color, so I'm gonna just be careful to avoid them with my Daffodil Delight. And what I love about the Stampin' Blends is that they really do blend so easily. So if you have done any coloring with our Stampin' Right markers, don't get me wrong, I love them, but you need to use them on watercolor paper. So that you can blend the shades. With the blends, they're alcohol based, And you can use them on regular cardstock, which just makes me happy because then I don't have to worry about having specialty paper. I like to use my Stampin' Up markers for other things like coloring stamps, which we're going to do a little bit later. But when it comes to shading and coloring stamped images, I love my blends. So we're just going to finish this guy up here. There we go. All right, isn't he cute? He's cute already. And we're going to give him some Bermuda Bay stripes. I have to remember which end I used. I think I used the brush tip. I am finding that on some of my blends that are older, one end is drying out faster than the other. It's because I'm using one end more than the other. So if you are finding that, you actually may be getting a third shade of each color, as one end tends to dry out. The end that you use more dries out faster than the other. So I tend to use my brush tip more. So I actually get a slightly lighter shade with the brush tip than I do with the bullet tip. And I'll show you in a second the difference. So we'll color that in. Okay, so here's my brush tip. Okay, and here's my bullet tip. It's not a huge difference, but it is enough of a difference that I notice it. So just a little tip there. All right, so then we're going to color the bottom package with the light real red. Oh, this is really light. See what I mean? Okay, look. Here's my brush tip of my light real red. Here's my bullet tip. Big difference, eh? My brush tip is quite dried out on this one. So we're going to just use the bullet tip so we get truer red color. I need to replace my real red. It has seen its day. It got a lot of use at Christmas time and got worn out. We all get worn out after a while, don't we? I wish we could replace the worn out parts as easily as I can replace my Stampin' blends. All right, so there is my red parcel, and then I'm going to bring in my pool party, and we're going to color this one just like that. Now, can you see how that part on his belly where we shaded a second time with the same color of ink is a little bit darker? I'm going to do the same thing on my shell here. I'm just going to kind of come around each of these little stripes. Oh, did that one on the wrong side. That's okay. And then I'm also going to kind of trace the curl like that. And again, once it dries, it will blend a little bit better. All right, so that is that. Now we need to die cut our little speech bubble. So I'm going to bring in my mini. I love this little fella. He is so, so cute. And I have to say, I have had rave reviews from all of my customers who have purchased this. They are loving it. So I have my little hello. I'm going to bring in my speech bubble die. Now, the only thing about this, the mini right now and the big machine, is that we don't have a magnetic plate, right? So what I do, and I'm sure what some of you do, is I hold it in place with a Post-it note. So I just line up my die and then try not to move it as I'm sticking down my Post-it note. There we go. Okay. And we're going to run that through and cut them out. Deb, that's actually dark Daffodil Delight that I'm using. It's quite a bold yellow. All right, so there is my little speech bubble. My die wiggled a little bit, but that's what paper snips are for, right? We can fix that up lickety-split. So I'm just going to set this guy aside because we're going to need him later. And I'm just going to bring in my snips and clean that up. So if you ever have a slipped die, not a slipped disc, that's something totally different. We can't fix that with paper snips. But you can totally clean it up with your snips, okay? So in this case, my die moved a little bit, but there we go. You'll never know. All right, so there is my colored, adorable little snail. We're going to pop him up with some dimensionals. So I think I'll use 5, 1 in each corner and 1 in the middle. And we'll get rid of our backings. Your dark is almost caramel in color. Wow. Give it a good shake, Deb. Sometimes it needs to get shaken up. And my other question is there any chance that it might have frozen en route while it was being delivered? When did you get it? Sometimes it shouldn't freeze though. It shouldn't freeze because it's alcohol based. So yeah, if your color is not right, you need to call Stampin' Up and let them know. Okay, so we put our little snail on. We're going to add our little speech bubble here. Okay, and then we're going to tie a bow with our twine. Oh, that's a good tip, Louise. I don't find that it's annoying. Like, it doesn't bother me. If you find your mini machine wiggles around, make sure the feet are clean. It does have some pretty good grips on the feet, but if they aren't clean, like if you've got glitter or dimensional backings on the bottom of it, that may cause it to slip and slide a little bit. It's also lighter, right? So doesn't have the same weight that the big machine does, so it will move more easily. But that's a good tip, to use the silicone sheet. Or even like a rubbery placemat. I have one under my big machine here in the studio, and it keeps it from sliding around. So, all right, there's our little bow. And then our last little touch. Where did I put my little hearts? I tossed them aside, and where did I put them? There they are. We are going to add just one little heart under our hello. So I'm going to bring in my Take Your Pick. And, oh, my cover for my Take Your Pick just rolled away. There we go. We're going to add one little heart there. Isn't that sweet? Who would not love to get that card in the mail? Like, at any age. It's just so, so cute. All right, so that is our first card. How cute is that? You like it? I hope you like it. All right, let's get that out of the way. Clean up the mess a little bit. And I'm going to bring in card number 2. Now, number 2 is one I posted earlier today. Super cute. Also has some coloring, but I've actually colored ahead of time. I figured you didn't have to watch me color this image twice. So this one will actually be pretty quick to put together because I've already done all the die cutting and everything for us. So here I wanted to feature as many patterns of this adorable DSP as I could. So I made it my mission. So I was able to bring in 3 different patterns. So don't ever be afraid to mix and match patterns, right? Especially patterns from the same DSP pack. They're designed to work together. So I have my background panel. This is, again, same DSP we used on the last card, but the reverse side, so the postage stamp side. It's cut to 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And then I have a little die cut postage stamp from the hearts or the mushrooms on the back side. And then I have, where'd my pool party piece go? There it is, a pool party postage stamp that we're going to stamp on really quickly. As soon as I clean, where'd they go? Clean my stamps that I used in the last card. Let's just give them a quick stamp off. Will that be okay? No, probably not. I better clean them. Sometimes you can get away with it, but pool party's a pretty light ink, and I don't want to end up with gray on my pool party. All right, so let's pull in our pool party ink pad. And I always like to, whenever I'm doing this kind of collage stamping, I like to use the larger image first, just to make sure that I have enough room. I find it easier to squeeze in the smaller image in between than it is to try to squeeze in the large image. Okay, so there's my hello. I'm going to add a couple little hearts. So same principle as with the last one. We want to make sure some of our images are extending off the edge. Okay, so cute. And then we're ready to assemble. So we're going to take our background panel and we're going to arrange our little postage stamps. So I kind of had them almost, I was thinking about like a hand of cards. So I wanted this one to be straight, but these guys to kind of be cockeyed. And then we're going to have our strip that comes across this way. All right. So I'm going to glue these guys on flat onto my background piece. And we'll just use a little bit of liquid glue for that. So we'll pop this guy on here. And then this little guy is going to go on this way, and it's going to extend off the edge. I'll trim that excess bit off in a minute. Okay, and then I have my strip. So this is, again, another piece, another pattern from the DSP pack. This is 1 1/4 by 5 1/4. And so we're going to add a little bit of adhesive there. And it's going to go on just 1/4 inch up from the bottom. All right, so it goes quite low. I kind of want it to look like this guy was kind of crawling across the bottom of the card. Okay, and then I can flip and trim off the excess. And my piece is actually a little bit long, so I can trim that off at the same time. There we go. Okay, All right, now we're going to add a little bit of white twine. So for this one, I just went with the white and I did a double thickness. So when I'm doing a double thickness of twine, all I do is I fold it in half. It's about, I don't know, I think I do about 15 inches or so. We'll trim that off. And then I'm going to add my glue dots. So this is going to go across the middle of this DSP strip. So we're going to add our glue dots to the back side. And then I'm going to press one end of the fold of the twine into that glue dot, bring it around across the front, and press it in on that side. And again, it's a little twine saving trick. All right, super easy. All right, so now again, I wanted that pop of yellow. I love just having that little hint of yellow in behind. So this again is just like on the last card. It's cut to 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. So we're going to add a little bit of adhesive. Put that on there. And we'll center that on our yellow Daffodil Delight. Okay, and then that is ready to go on our real red card base. So our real red card base is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. So this again is a half sheet landscape of cardstock, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. So we'll fold that in half. And then we're gonna add a little bit of adhesive and pop that on, just like that. Okay, and then we have another cute little postage stamp. So this is just plain white, and we have our banner. So this one we're going to stamp our sentiment on. So I have my "You Snailed It" sentiment, and I have someone in mind to send this to. A friend of mine just reached her $1 million in career sales with Stampin' Up, so I'm going to send her this card. So this is where my favorite use for Stampin' Right markers. Okay, so this is my real red Stampin' Right marker. Notice the difference. Okay, totally different. This does not work with Stampin' Blends. Okay, you can only do this technique with Stampin' Right markers. So just word of warning. So I'm going to ink my word snailed, because I want that to kind of pop out to emphasize the pun. So I'm using the edge, the side of my brush tip on my Stampin' Right marker. And then I'm going to bring in my Bermuda Bay, and I'm going to ink "You" and "It." Okay. So then, to make sure this stamps cleanly, I'm just going to give it a little huff and puff. Not going to blow the house down, but I'm just going to re-moisten that ink and then do my best to stamp this centered. Oh, not bad. I always worry when I can't look right down on my project. And then I'm going to bring in my tailored tag punch to punch a little banner end in one end. Okay. And then that's going to get layered behind my little postage stamp. All right. So I want this little guy to go centered, right behind, or with the twine centered behind it. And then this little guy is going to go on right about there. So I'm going to just add a little bit of seal and kind of place my postage stamp where I want it and stick it in place. And then I'm going to pop the whole thing up. Okay. Just an easy way to get it in the right, get it spaced correctly so that it all fits on your card nicely. So we'll just add a couple of dimensionals, or 6 or 7. And we'll get rid of our backings. There we go. And we're going to just pop that on. And again, I want to make sure this is centered. I need room for my little bow over here. So we're just going to pop that on there and just press it firmly, because we have that twine running behind it, right? So we want to make sure that it's adhered. And then this little fella is going to pop up on the pop-up, because, you know, we can never have too much dimension, right? Right. So we'll add a couple of these guys and a mini to the top. Oh, let's not spill the glue. So we'll get that guy out of there. Now on the eyeball, I like to put a mini on the eyeball. I don't think though, will it fit? Oh, it does. Look at that. One mini fits perfectly on his eyeball. So he'll pop up. So we're going to put this little guy right on there. And I just love that extra bit of dimension on the card. And then I'm going to bring in my white twine and I'm going to tie a double bow. Okay, so here's your double bow lesson for today. So again, I'm folding it to a double thickness. I'm making one loop, and then I'm bringing it around and through. Super quick and easy way to tie a twine bow. Okay, so we're not actually tying a knot. We're just kind of looping it around. Easy peasy. We'll just adjust our loops and trim our ends a little bit. Oh, let me use my other scissors. These are a little bit better for ribbon and trim. And then we need a glue dot. So we're gonna roll that into a little glue booger. And we're gonna pop that on right where the twine meets the postage stamp. And we're just gonna tuck that in right in that corner. And of course that loop doesn't wanna lie flat, but we'll play with that until we get it right. Because that is what we do. We want our bows to be pretty. So sometimes it requires a little bit of finessing. So let me finesse this bow for a second before I stick it back on there. There we go. That's much better. Make that loop a little bit smaller. There we go. And then we'll just trim that off. There we go. Much better. All right, so there is our adorable bow. And then, of course, we're going to add a couple more little hearts because we can, and because they're cute, and because they're cheap. So we're going to add a few of these little guys, just kind of floating around past the sentiment, just like it's confetti, right? We're celebrating the fact that they snailed it. There we go. So cute. Now I'll just show you on the inside of my sample here. These are some more little snails that I actually cut from the DSP. So I thought that was just a really cute thing to have on the inside. Okay, so there we go. Number 2 is done. Now, number 3 is going to be the quickest, easiest card you have ever seen. Why? Because there is 0 stamping. Okay, yes, you're watching a stamping video that has 0 stamping on one of the projects. I wanted to highlight just how fantastic the DSP is. All right, so this card is entirely DSP. There is not a single bit of stamping. Even the sentiment is from the DSP. So if you want quick and easy, this is it. All right, especially if you have a machine that will cut out all of these images. Super quick. All right, so again, more DSP. Okay, 4 by 5 1/4 inches. This little piece is 2 3/4 by 4. This is 2 7/8 by 4 1/8. Okay, Daffodil Delight again. I'm loving the happy colors these days. I think it's because we're in the dead of winter here in Canada and we all need some color. All right, so we're going to just add a little bit of glue here and just layer this on so we have a cute little border. All right, and then I have just this this was just a scrap I had laying around. I thought, oh, we'll use it. I think this is 3/4 inch. Yep, 3/4 inch by 4. So it's going to go across the bottom about, I don't know, 3/4 inch to 1 inch up from the bottom. So we'll just get that in place. And again, use your grid paper to get your pieces straight. All right, it is your best friend. Okay, that is going to go on just like that. But before we put that on, we're going to add some more twine because we can and because it's cute. So we're going to use both colors again. And some people might say, oh, well, the pink clashes with the red. No, it doesn't. The hearts on this paper are pink. They're not white. So pink and red do not clash. They are the same color, just different shades. So don't feel that you can't put pink and red together on a card. I love those 2 colors together. Or 2 shades, I should say. They're not really 2 colors. All right, so there is our twine. All right, now we can put that onto our card. Same dimensions as the first card, so 4 1/4 by 11, scored in the middle at 5 1/2. So we'll fold that in half along our score line. This little guy is going to go on the front, just like that, centered. So we'll add a little bit of adhesive and pop this on. This would be the most adorable, fun card to send. If you have grandchildren or nieces or nephews or littles in your life who you're not able to see right now because of COVID, how fun would it be to send them all the pieces of this card for them to put together? Like, so cute and fun. All right, so this piece is going to get glued on centered. Oh, No one bites the dust. I almost made it through. You guys witness like a seal die every week. It's amazing. I use a lot of seal. What can I say? So we are going to just center that on our card. Make sure it's straight. Okay, and hopefully this will stick over the twine. Normally I use seal when I'm bumping over twine, so we'll just give that a second to set up. Okay, and then I have all of these adorable images. So these were all cut from the mushroom paper. So we're going to kind of create our little scene of mushrooms here. All right, they're all going to get popped because we can and because it's cute. And where am I? Here they are. I put my dimensionals away. I couldn't find them. Anybody ever find that when you clean up, you can't find a thing? Happens to me on the regular. I have piles. It looks like I'm very disorganized, but I actually know exactly what's in every pile. So we're gonna pop, oh, need to take the backing off that. Couldn't figure out why it wasn't sticking. We're gonna pop this little mushroom on here. Okay, and then this guy is going to go on. So we just want to put a dimensional kind of right in the corner here. And, oh, I can't add any seal. All right, well, we're just gonna pop them on this way. I'll add more adhesive later. So he's just going to kind of layer over top. Normally I would add a little bit of seal down here so that that sticks down. We can tuck a glue dot in there. That's what we'll do. So we'll just pop that in there like that. And then this little guy is going to kind of go over here. So again, I just need one dimensional right about there. And we're going to, oh, you know what? We'll put a mini underneath so that the stem stays popped. So we're going to put this little guy here. Okay, isn't it so easy to create these adorable little scenes? Oh, there's one of my hairs stuck to the card. I'm shedding. Did I mention? I'm losing my hair. Getting old sucks, I gotta tell you. All right, so we're gonna add a couple of dimensionals to our little snail and pop him on so he's sitting on the mushroom, just like that. And then we have our little hello. It's gonna go on just like this. So he's saying hello. And then the last little touch is to tie another little bow. So cute and easy. And honestly, like I am not a child by any means. I may sound like a child sometimes, but I'm not. And I would love to get this card in the mail. I mean, who does not love Happy Meal? And who does not need something to brighten their day in this current world we're living in? So I think this suite is just adorable, and I think it's perfect for the times we're living in. So we are going to add a little bow, just like we did on the last card, just kind of where the focal image and the the twine meet. We'll just pop that on there like that, and done. So cute, so easy, and not a drop of ink was spilled. So cute. All right, now I'll just show you again on the inside of this one. Again, I just used some more of the images that I die cut from the DSP. Lots of room to write a message. What I love about these is they're kind of any occasion, right? Like you can just write a little message saying, hey, I miss you, I'm thinking of you, whatever, right? All right, so there, let me bring them all back. There are our adorable projects for today. Did you like those? I hope you did. All right, now, if you like this suite, maybe you already own this suite and you are looking for ideas, I, tomorrow, am going to be launching a new online class. So my dear friend, Michelle Suit from Suitably Stamped Studios in Manassas, Virginia, she is an amazingly talented demonstrator. We have teamed up and we are going to be offering a series of online classes this spring, starting this month, actually, I guess not technically this spring, that feature different product suites. So you'll get the creativity of both of us, and they will be free with a $60 order. And they will include anywhere from 5 to 7 projects. They will include a tutorial video and a PDF supply list. So I'm really excited about this. I have wanted to do this kind of thing with Michelle for a long time. So we are calling ourselves cross-border crafters. And tomorrow I will be shooting a video and posting it to launch our first online class collaboration, which uses the Snail Mail Suite. So I'm so excited. You'll have to watch for it tomorrow. I'm not gonna tease it right now because it is is a great class, and I want it to have the spotlight all by itself. All right, so make sure you check it out tomorrow. For now, that is it for me. I hope you have a fantastic week. Stay safe, stay well, and I will see you next week for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. Bye for now.